UFC 316, Merab Dvalishvili versus Sean O'Malley 2 just ended, and this is going to be my full card post-fight. We're going to talk about Julianna Peña losing her title to Kayla Harrison and the return of Amanda Nunes. We're going to talk about Merab Dvalishvili absolutely dominating industry plant Sean O'Malley. We're going to talk about Mario Bautista dominating Patchy Mix. But we're going to discuss every single fight on the card. A card where I can brag about a prediction rate for a nice change. We damn near had the clean sweep tonight, boys. But we'll talk about that towards the end of the video. Let's jump right into it. First fight of the night. Marquel Mederos versus Mark Choinski. Listen, I'm not going to spend too much time breaking this fight down. Essentially, Mederos absolutely brutalized him with leg kicks for the entirety of the fight. I had him arguably winning all 3 rounds. Third round, maybe you could give to Choinski. He had the back mount, or he had the full mount. He got a takedown, had the full mount, had the back mount for a little bit, looking for the finish, but didn't do a whole lot of damage in full mount. And before that, he got dropped multiple times from the leg kicks. Second round, got dropped multiple times from the leg kicks. I think every single round, actually, Choinski got the back of Mederos, but really wasn't able to do much with it. And essentially, it was just Mederos brutally chopping the legs over and over and over again. In the third round, dropped him with leg kicks, then came up and stomped on his leg as well. The body language from Choinski was horrible. I thought, honestly, the referee could have jumped in and everyone would be like, oh, yeah, you could clearly tell it needed to be stopped. But Mederos just basically outclassed him on the feet. Choinski was able to implement some grappling, but really wasn't able to get much done. He would get the back, not do much with it, and then Mederos would work back to the feet, break, and then start chopping the legs again. Mederos won via unanimous decision, which I should have said at the very beginning. But nonetheless, next fight on the card, we have Quinlan Salkilld versus Yanal Ashmouz. Quinlan Salkilld wins via unanimous decision. I want to say I have a lot to say about this fight, but I really don't. Essentially, Salkilld just kind of out-grappled him for the first 2 rounds. Was doing more damage on the feet, but was mixing in the grappling as well. And they're really, it really wasn't all that impressive. And the commentary team was like, man, these Australians, man, they're so good, man. Look at this wrestling. He's out-wrestling Ashmouz. Like, Ashmouz is some elite wrestler. And then Salkilld got tired in the third round and out-grappled him a little bit, but really wasn't able to contain him because he was tired, and Ashmouz was walking him down, cracking him with big shots, cracked him with the right hand towards the end of the third round. And I gave Ashmouz the third round. So I had it 2-1 Quinlan Salkilld. I think 2 judges had it 29-28. 1 judge had it 30-27. I don't know how you give the third round to Quinlan Salkilld. But I'll tell you right now, the commentary team glazing Quinlan because he's from Australia is absolutely insane. Dude went to war with Yanal Ashmouz, and they were acting like he was a top 5 contender already. It was an embarrassment. The commentary team was horrible at UFC 316. But overall, I don't think Salkild's like one of the bottom of the barrel bums that the UFC brings in from Dana White's Contender Series. I think he's okay. He's a decent lightweight fighter. Do I think he's going to be champion one day? It's way too early to tell, but it's just crazy. He goes to war with Yanal Ashmouz, and they're acting like he's elite, and he loses the third round and got cracked a couple times where if like Yanal Ashmouz was a little bit more technical rather than just winging the most wild winging overhands, maybe would have been able to try to get him out of there and maybe get a finish in the third round, but he wasn't able to. Salkild's tough. He's good everywhere, and he gets the win over Yanal Ashmouz. Next fight on the card, we have Jeka Saragih versus Zhu Sang Yu. I watched some of the fights of Yu before this fight, and he's super flashy on the feet. And this fight lasted a total of 28 seconds. And maybe these stats are accurate. 2 shots to 6. I don't know. But either way, essentially Jeka Saragih is overextending with shots and gets put to sleep with a picture-perfect left hook. There was really no wind-up on it. He didn't even cock it back. He just clipped him with a nasty left hook, put him down, and put him away, face down. Brutally KO'd. Absolutely brutally KO'd in the first round. Zhu Sang Yu looked incredible, man. I think he's going to get a little bit too much hype from this, to be honest, considering he beat Jeka Saragih. But at the end of the day, watching some of his previous fight tape, He actually looks like a very, very good fighter. Super flashy striker, has finishing ability, and he went out there and got it done via first round KO. I don't know if he got a performance bonus, but he should have got a performance bonus. Does it show one here? Hold on. Does it show? Let me click out of here. Did they give him a... No, I think it shows usually on the UFC's website, so I don't see a performance bonus. He should have got one. It was a nasty KO. It was a filthy KO. It was the best finish on the prelims. And Zhu Shengyu, I can't wait to see who he fights next at featherweight. Maybe he's a future contender. It's too early to tell, but amazing KO finish over Jeka Saragih. Next fight on the card, we have Ariane De Silva versus Wang Cong. Wang Cong essentially dominated her, smashed her legs, dropped her with a punch, I believe in the second round. I might be mistaken. Dropped her with multiple leg kicks. It looked like she was going to quit, kind of similar to the first fight on the card where Mark Choinski kind of fell to the ground. The body language was like, okay, the referee could jump in and they'd be totally justified in stepping in. But Andre Silva makes it all the way to the decision, loses 30-27. I mean, what's there to say? Wang Cong, at one point, people were kind of hyping her up. I still think she's a decent contender. I think De Silva's kind of a little bit underrated. But I really, I mean, it's women's MMA. So you can't expect a finish, but I really think it would have been the way Wang Cong was dominating her and finishing her, or not finishing her, but she had these moments where it looked like she could have found finishing sequences. I feel like she should have been a little bit more aggressive, but she brutalized the leg. She busted her up. Ariane De Silva ended up switching stances to kind of address the leg kicks, but Wang Cong dominated her throughout the fight, won all 3 rounds, outstruck her. And really, Ariane De Silva had nothing to offer the entirety of the fight. So Wang Cong gets it done over De Silva. Next fight on the card, the very first regular prelim, we have Khaos Williams versus Andreas Gustafsson, which I don't know why this is adjusting and not going all the way up. All right, there we go. I'm pissed about this fight. This was my only wrong pick on the entire card. And this fight got announced like 2 minutes before I did my video. I wish I wouldn't even done a pick for this fight. Then I could have claimed full sweep. But, I mean, Gustafsson walked him down and essentially beat the dog shit out of him the entire fight. The crowd was booing, oh no, he's clinching. He was working him over. And, like, even when they were out in the center of the cage, Gustafsson was kind of walking him down. And Khaos Williams never really planted his feet and thrown anything back that could really do any damage because he was being pressured so badly. The dirty boxing of Gustafsson was unbelievable. I thought the first round could have been a 10-8. He was hurting him. He was battering him in the clinch. Second round, I scored a 10-8. Took him down at one point, landed a big elbow and some shots up against the fence as he worked his way back to his feet. And then the third round, I scored 10-8 as well. So you could literally, I'm trying to think, maybe I was mistaken thinking round 1, but round 2 and round 3, I scored 10-8 for Gustafsson. He beat the dog shit out of Khaos Williams. Imagine taking a guy on short notice and just getting dog walked like that. And it was just a brutal beating too, man. He cut open Khaos, had him busted open, was bleeding all over the place. I think he did that towards the end of the second round. I think that was with the elbow on the ground, the filthy elbow on the ground, but Gustafsson's cardio looks unbelievable. I don't think he's the most skilled by any means, but he went out there and literally destroyed Khaos Williams on short notice. Now, granted, I think he had a fight booked last week, so it wasn't like he was out of shape or anything. And Khaos Williams had nothing to offer. Massive disappointing performance from Khaos Williams, and it got me a wrong pick on the card. I want that clean sweep. Anyway, Gustafsson gets it done basically with clinch work the entire time. And even when they were striking, though, Gustafsson was still winning. So people can boo. I don't think it was a boring fight at all, and I thought Gustafsson was constantly working in the clinch. I think the referee, which I believe was Mike Beltran, who ref like 3 fights in a row at one point. I think the referee only broke him one time, which was in the first. Gustafsson lost his mouthpiece a couple times throughout the fight, but was really never in any trouble and battered Khaos Williams. Again, I had 2 10-8 rounds for Andreas Gustafsson, and he gets the unanimous decision win over Khaos Williams. I think one judge had it 30-26, if I'm not mistaken, but it was a dominant performance. Next fight on the card, we have Serghei Spivac versus Waldo Cortes-Acosta. Listen, people are going to call me crazy. I've seen some people saying robbery. What fight were you watching that you thought this fight was a robbery? I had Waldo Cortes-Acosta winning all 3 rounds. I thought round 1 you could give to Spivac. There wasn't a whole lot to judge. I mean, Acosta was landing good leg kicks early in the first round. It was like a big punch and then a head kick. But then after that, Spivac didn't really do much. He got one takedown, but Acosta Cortez ended up getting right back up. And Spivac didn't do much with that. And he landed more shots. And he was throwing good combinations that were only really landing on the guard, but some of them would occasionally sneak through. And it was like, do you give round one to Spivac off the one head kick that was kind of to the eyeball with the toes? Or do you give it to Acosta for more volume and heavy leg kicks? Now, ultimately, even if you give round one to Spivac, I still had 2 and 3 for the Salsa Boy, who I picked. I knew we would win. There was a weird stumble in the first round. I have a note here, weird stumble in the first round. I don't know what happened. Acosta randomly stumbled like he was going to fall over. I don't know what he was doing. Second round, outstruck him the entire round, was ripping him to the body, was stuffing takedowns. Clear round for Acosta in the second. Then the third round, some people are like, oh, Spivac won. There was one big shot that Spivac landed, and then Acosta was kind of taunting. I didn't think he was actually hurt, and Acosta just landed the better shots, jabbing to the body nonstop, defending takedowns. I think Spivac got one takedown but didn't do anything with it. And I thought Cortes-Acosta won 30-27 or 29-28. I wouldn't begrudge you if you said round one went to Spivac, but this just goes to show the depth of the heavyweight division. Tom Aspinall sit around saying John Jones, where you at, 40-year-old John Jones? He won't damn near mention Salsa Boy's name ever. No, I'm kidding. Let me stop. Two MPC heavyweights, Waldo Cortes-Acosta probably would be decent if he dropped down to light heavyweight. Showed decent takedown defense, showed decent durability. Both of their stamina is absolutely atrocious. Both of them were tired in the third round. But Waldo Cortes-Acosta, the Salsa Boy, gets it done via unanimous decision. Next fight on the card, we have Azamat Murzakanov versus Brenson Ribeiro. Dominant win. Azamat Murzakanov absolutely dominated him and finished him in the first round. It was a great win. It was a great win. Ribeiro really was able to do nothing. I mean, it lasted 3 minutes and 25 seconds. I don't remember Ribeiro really landing much. I mean, he was slamming head kicks over and over and over again, but they were blocked by Azamat. So it's crazy because Ribeiro has such a long reach and a significant reach advantage. I think it's like a 9-inch reach advantage over Murzakanov. But Murzakanov closes the distance, was landing good shots, caught him with a left hand, then just went in. I think he followed him to the ground, was smashing him, went into full mount, and then ended up finishing with back shots dead. It was kind of a weird stoppage because it was a late stoppage, and then Rogan was like, oh, he tapped. And I'm like, oh, it was such a late stoppage that he had to tap. But then they went back and rewatched it, and there was no tap. And then he was like, maybe it's a verbal tap, and there was no verbal tap. So I don't know what Rogan was hearing, but it was a late stoppage. But Murzakanov, man, looks super sharp on the feet, looks very fast, very powerful, has decent grappling, even though he didn't really show it in this fight other than the finishing sequence where he was in full mount and then had the back shots dead. I think he's a legit threat at light heavyweight. He says, I want a 5-round fight. So he has 5-round cardio, or he's confident he has 5-round cardio. I think he should be fighting a ranked dude next. He said, I want a ranked guy next too. Maybe you rank him at number 8. Maybe you give him to Magomed Ankalaev for his first title defense. And then we call him the GOAT if Ankalaev beats the number 8 guy. That's what I'm thinking, since Alex Pereira doesn't want the smoke from Ankalaev, been turning him down 5 different dates, and now they're going to call him inactive as a champion, even though Pereira refuses to fight. But either way, I think you should give Azamat Murzakanov a main event against Dominic Reyes at the Apex or something. If you're going to keep doing the Apex, let's do Azamat Murzakanov, Dominic Reyes for that illustrious number 8 spot that gets you a title shot like Khalil Roundtree. Looked incredible tonight. Lightning fast. Super underrated prospect in the 205-pound division. He gets it done via first round TKO over Brenson Ribeiro. Drops him, finishes him on the ground. Next fight on the card, we have Bruno Silva versus Joshua Van. I believe this was the featured prelim. Man, Joshua Van put it on him. Eventually got a 3rd round TKO. I thought it was going to go to decision. Joshua Van was eating some leg kicks early. There was a couple times where he's kind of knocked off his feet. But Van was boxing him up. Dropped him in the first round. Looked for the finish, but Bruno Silva popped right back up and was okay. Started battering the legs again. Dropped him with a leg kick towards the end of the first round. Second round, similar kind of scenario. Bruno Silva landing good leg kicks. Joshua Van, outboxing him on the feet. Dropped him. Looked for a finish. Then Bruno Silva popped back up, shot a double leg, took him down with ease. But then Joshua Van immediately got his hips underneath him and got back up. Yeah, I think there was 2 drops in the second round. Yeah, there was a knee that Joshua Van threw. I never actually went back and watched the replay. I'm not sure exactly where it landed, but dropped him again, looked for the finish. I had round 2 as a 10-8 for Joshua Van, but somehow Silva survived. And it's like, okay, now Van's starting to slow down. He's put out a lot of output. Now, okay, it's probably going to be a decision win, a dominant decision win for Van. But then Van still goes out there and puts it on him in the third round. And then the third round, he's backing him up, clips him with the right hand, and then basically Bruno Silva just folded. It kind of looked like he quit Bo Nickel style, but I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt because it was a hard right hand. I don't think his wits were there. I think his brain got rattled. He melted into like a seated position. Joshua Van starts swarming him up against the fence, and the referee jumps in. I respect Van so much. He's super young. He's dominating the fight. He clearly has a decision in the bag, and he goes out there and gets a finish in the late third round. Impressive performance from Joshua Van. The boxing looks unbelievable. Still needs to work on the leg kick check defense because he was getting his leg kind of battered in this fight. And also, I think he needs to work in mixing in more kicks because essentially Joshua Van just kind of throws basically just a boxer. He's primarily a boxer. He threw some kicks in this fight, but not very many. But man, is he an impressive prospect. He didn't need to cheat to beat Bruno Silva. Manel Kopp cheated to beat Bruno Silva and finish Bruno Silva. Joshua Van got a legit finish. And Bruno Silva's tough as hell, man. I'm actually surprised that he ended up getting finished. But Joshua Van gets it done. Third round TKO in a very interesting prospect in the flyweight division. I think he'll eventually fight for a title in like a year or two, potentially. We'll see how the flyweight division plays out. But I think Joshua Van has proven himself as a legit contender. Next fight on the card, opening up the main card. Vicente Luque versus Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland wins via anaconda choke in the second round. I mean, what's there to say, man? Luque got hurt early by an elbow. Luque shot like a single leg earlier, and then Kevin Holland was like throwing these big power shots while he's balancing on one leg. And I thought a lot of them landed, but then when they showed the replay, really none of them landed. Then he hurt him with a big elbow. But as he rushes in, Luque clipped him with a left hand, and then Holland was showing a little bit more respect. Then it was kind of back and forth. But it was a pretty clear first round for Kevin Holland. And then in the second round, basically Luque slips. I think Holland caught a kick, actually. And Kevin Holland just locks up a Darce choke. People are like, man, Kevin Holland, man, he's so damn good. He's championship caliber. He beat Vicente Luque. Vicente Luque hasn't had a good win since like 2021 against Tyron Woodley, which, again, that win hasn't aged very well. Kevin Holland beating the dead corpse of Luque is now impressive. I mean, even Kevin Holland's talking about, I want to fight the worst guys in the division. Yeah, I want Colby Covington. This isn't a good win, and he didn't even look that good in it. I mean, credit to him for getting the Darce choke. I picked him to win via finish. I didn't pick him to win via sub. We'll go over my predictions at the end of the video. But Kevin Holland gets it done. Another main card placement. Now we got to hear Joe Rogan say, man, if he really tried, if Kevin Holland really tried, man, he'd probably be champion. He is a career 2-division journeyman, and that's being kind. So he calls out Colby. I do like the call out afterwards. I mean, that would be my hate watch championship if that fight ends up materializing. I would favor Kevin Holland in that fight because Colby's washed up and he was never that good. But Holland has no grappling, so it's hard to say. It's really hard to say. But another Kevin Holland main card placement, which is a complete embarrassment. And I'm quite frankly getting tired of it. And I just hate people hyping up this performance like it was some... why are people glazing Kevin Holland so hard for beating the dead corpse of Vicente Luque? I don't get it. He got it done. He submitted him in the second round. Fair play to him. Next fight on the card, we have Mario Bautista versus Patchy Mix. Dominant masterclass 30-27 by Mario Bautista. Patchy Mix stuck in the mud. No head movement. I think a lot of people are going to be like, man, he's brutally exposed. Mario Bautista is that damn good. I understand Patchy Mix didn't look that good in this fight. But you have to understand, he only has 2 losses in his career up until this point. He's fought legit opposition. He was a champion. He was a champion in another organization. I tried to mix champion and title holder. Mario Bautista is the elite of the elite. I've been telling you guys for years, he's underrated, criminally underrated. I've not picked against Mario Bautista, at least not in a long, long time. People were like, yeah, man, Damon Blackshear's going to out-grapple. I'm like, no, he's not. Now, Patchy Mix barely tried to grapple, but it's because Bautista's movement is so good. Bautista busted him up with right hand after right hand in the first round, was ripping to the body, was landing body kicks, was walking him down. Patchy Mix is just standing there like this. chin straight up in the air, and Mario's tagging him. And every time he's tagging him, Patchy Mix looks like he's smelling shit. That's how bad he's getting tagged with the right hand. First round, dominant for Mario Bautista. Second round, same thing. There was like one half-hearted attempt from Patchy Mix in the second round, then a couple like clinch attempts, and Mario Bautista just shucked them all off easily. There was a head kick in the second round that landed for Patchy Mix, but really didn't do all that much. And then in the third round, Patchy shot one takedown. He was a little bit more aggressive, landing a few more shots, but Bautista was still tagging him, bloodied him up. And the commentary team was acting like Mix might have won the third round. I think they were even acting like maybe he could have won the second. I can't remember off the top of my head right now. It was an embarrassment. I literally have here saved on my notes, commentary. But I don't remember. They were acting like Mix won the third round. He got outstruck and dominated in the third round. But he was just a little bit more aggressive and had a few more moments than he had previously. And they were acting like somehow he was winning. Mario Bautista is legit in the bantamweight division. He may be the only guy that can beat Merab. Doesn't get a post-fight interview afterwards, which is absolutely crazy that he doesn't get a post-fight interview. But Sean O'Malley's privileged ass does. Batista is a legit guy. He should be the number one contender in the bantamweight division. The Patchy Mix win is good. I know Patchy Mix didn't look great. I know people are going to say he's exposed. He's exposed. He's a fraud. Patchy Mix, let's book him against Sean O'Malley. Let's see how fraudulent he is. Let's see how fraudulent Patchy Mix is. I think it's a combination of Mario Bautista's really good. Patchy took it on short notice. Patchy probably had UFC jitters a little bit. But I also think it's really just Mario Bautista is the elite of the elite. He's impossible to take down. He has amazing striking. And by the way, people were booing during this fight. This was not a boring fight. If you thought it was a boring fight, you're a fucking casual. This was a great fight. Bautista was tagging him nonstop, busting him up, landing good shots, ripping to the body, kicking the legs. And Patchy Mix had no fucking head movement at all. He was just standing there like, think, think, think. Head was in the same spot the entire time. Barely tried to grapple, but it was really hard to close the distance on Bautista. When he did, he never even got close to a takedown. He kept trying to land that step-in knee throughout this fight. But I just really think that people overhype some of these guys coming from other organizations. If you watch my channel at all, you guys know I say, listen, people overrate the UFC. There's a lot of good talent outside the UFC. But what I see historically, I've seen this since I've been watching the sport. When you have a somewhat known guy come from another organization, everybody in the UFC automatically starts glazing that person, even though they don't really know him that well, because they want to seem like a hardcore. They're like, oh yeah, man, I know Patchy Mix, man, low key's really good, and this and that, man, he's gonna beat Mario Bautista, and they're like just kind of glazing him, essentially sucking him off, because they're like, yeah, man, I'm hardcore. I know who Patchy Mix is, bro. He's got grappling, man. He beat Magomedov, and yeah, man, he's the champion in Bellator. I know what I'm talking about, bro. And while Patchy Mix is very good, Mario Bautista is better. And if you watch my prediction video, you would know that. Bautista should be fighting for a title next, not Corey Sandhagen. Unfortunately, considering the disgraceful act of not even giving him a post-fight interview after an exciting, dominant performance against a super dangerous short-notice opponent, I don't think he's going to get that title fight. So, again, we have Dana White privilege. They're giving it to Corey Sandhagen in hopes that Corey Sandhagen could fluke a win over Merab, and then Sean O'Malley could probably get another undeserved title shot. But great performance from Mario Bautista. Wasn't boring at all. And the fans need to stop trashing him, man. He walked down Aldo and beat the shit out of him for the first 2 rounds before he clinched in the third round. So the Mario Bautista hate is overrated, and it's clouding people's judgment. People think, they're like, Joey, man, you're a contrarian, man. You like Mario because no one likes it. No. It's not about liking him or disliking him. It's I can like or dislike a fighter and give an objective opinion on their skill set, an actual assessment. I don't care if I hate their guts or I love them. I'm going to give them an objective analysis of their skill set when I make my predictions. People are like, man, I'm hardcore. I'm picking Patchy Mix. Man, he's going to come out and expose Mario. No, Patchy Mix got brutalized in this fight, and he will never be champion in the UFC. And Mario Bautista should be next for the title, not Corey Sandhagen. Great performance by Mario Bautista. He deserves more credit. I hope he gets at least a number 1 contender fight in his next fight. He deserves that. Next fight on the card, we have Kelvin Gastelum versus Mr. Body Bags, Joe Pyfer. Be Joe Pyfer. Listen, I got to be honest. Joe Pyfer, the ginger, was throwing a little bit of shade at my boy Bo Nickel, okay? Who quit, who I walked down, brutalized, and he quit. And really, I thought it was unbecoming, man. Joe Pyfer's like, man, but I didn't get fraud checked, man. But Bo got fraud checked, which is true. Bo did get fraud checked by me. I brutally walked him down and finished him. But, man, this was one of the worst performances I have ever seen. And I know people are going to disagree with me on this. I don't know to what extent. He drops Gastelum in the first round, then lands like a nasty body shot. Drops him with a right hand, lands a head kick later, drops him later, again with another right hand, tries to swarm him on the ground, then waves him up. That was in the first round. Joe Pyfer clearly won the first round. You could even maybe say 10-8, but I thought it was a 10-9. Gastelum doesn't really do much. Second and third rounds are just dog shit rounds, with Gastelum clearly winning the third round, landing multiple left hands. Pyfer got a takedown on Gastelum, kind of slung him to the ground like the fat middleweight that he is. But Gastelum clearly won the third, and the second round was so uneventful that you could literally give either guy the round. So Pyfer's like, man, I'm back. Body Bags is back, man. Body Bags is back, bro. I hate to say it. You know, maybe he didn't get fraud checked against Jack Hermanson because he won 2 rounds against Jack. He got fraud checked against Kelvin Gastelum. We got Kelvin Gastelum, who's been out of his prime for 5 years, who, let's be honest, is a fat-ass middleweight, you know, in comparison. I mean, look at the size difference of these two guys. And Joe Pyfer couldn't go out there and put him away. Couldn't even go out there and style on him. Couldn't go out there and do more than 2-punch combinations. And Gastelum's tagging him with left hands. And Joe Pyfer thinks that he's going to be a champion one day or a contender. He will be a contender because the UFC will shoehorn him up the rankings. We got to stop hyping up these white American gingers because they just aren't cutting it, man. The Dana White privilege isn't cutting it. He got the most optimal matchup of a guy with an established name, a former title contender, the only guy to take the smoke to Adesanya, as he would say. And Pyfer shit the bed, man. He looked like a total clown here. Like the first round, he looked good. He's taking his time. He's not going to make a mistake. Second and third round, he didn't do shit. He didn't do shit. This was a tailor-made matchup. You talked all that shit about Hispanics and I don't like Mexico and Mexico's a shithole and this and that because you had diarrhea or something. You bum. You couldn't control your bowels, so you blame an entire country. And then he gets gifted a matchup against Kelvin Gastelum. Like, oh, let's save this matchup. We want to promote Joe Pyfer. And he goes out there and shits the bed in the second and third round. Should have been more aggressive. At least he did acknowledge that it was a shit performance afterwards. So I do respect him for that. But ultimately, this was not the performance I was expecting from Joe Pyfer. I thought he was going to do a lot more damage on Kelvin. I thought he was going to be able to potentially find a finish against Kelvin and get a statement win here. The only thing I will say is he would wreck Bo Nickel. I would love to see him book that fight, man. But they'll never book it. They'll never book 2 American gingers against each other. And especially Mr. Penn State, they're going to give him a layup win in his next fight after I absolutely bodied him in the cage, walked him down, and made him quit. But yeah, Joe Pyfer, I think his stock kind of fell tonight against Kelvin Gastelum. He should have went out there. He should have been much more aggressive. He should have looked for the kill a little bit more after the first round. And honestly, getting tagged in the third round against Kelvin Gastelum is really a shame. And it just goes to show Joe Pyfer doesn't got that 5-round cardio. Had this been a 5-round fight, let's say this had been an Apex main event, UFC might have booked that. Kelvin might have won the 4th and 5th. Let's be honest. Kelvin is super durable, and Kelvin has decent boxing, and he was tagging Joe Pyfer in the third round. So I wouldn't be surprised if this was a 5-round Apex main event if Kelvin Gastelum would have won. So Joe Pyfer kind of got exposed, but he gets the unanimous decision win. Next fight on the card, we have Julianna Peña versus Kayla Harrison. Kayla Harrison is your new bantamweight champion. By the way, I picked Kayla via 3rd round sub. I switched my pick to 1st or 2nd round sub. Not that that really matters. Either way, she got the sub. First round, Kayla took her down with ease. Was in side control, but then went to full guard and was like doing a little bit of damage. I think there was like a couple shots, but nothing really too crazy. Then it's like posturing up, and Julianna Peña throws 2 brutal up kicks, illegal up kicks as Harrison is on her knees. The referee stops the fight and takes a point from Julianna Peña. Shout out to that referee, man. Shout out to that. You know, I appreciate that ref so much. I gotta take a drink of my water right now. I mean seriously. These, you know what I still have? I just got a refill of the Alex Pereira Magomed Ankalaev. Alex Pereira fanboys, the Magomed Ankalaev haters. This is a refill of their tears real quick. Man, that just hits the spot each and every time, man. It really does. Anyway, Kayla Harrison gets up-kicked brutally, illegally. The referee actually takes a point. I mean, how beautiful is that to see someone cheat and then face a consequence? How beautiful is that to see? Anyway, they end up ending the fight standing. People are like, oh, they should have put him back down. I get it. They took a point. It was only 30 seconds left. So if Kayla could have decided, do you want the position or do you want the point? She would have took the point because there's only 30 seconds left. And Julianna Peña has dog shit striking anyway. Anyway, second round, Kayla comes out, basically immediately takes her down, dominates her on the ground, busting her up, landing some elbows. Julianna Peña never even gets close to getting up. At one point, Kayla Harrison's looking for a Von Flue choke, maybe looking to set up an arm triangle. Then we're like 5 seconds left in the round, as you can see right here, 4 minutes and 55 seconds. Kayla Harrison just grabs onto her arm and just wrenches a Kimura. And Julianna Peña taps with 5 seconds left in the second round. Kayla wins via second round Kimura. Look, there's not much to say. Julianna Peña's trash. She never deserved to even fight for the title. She got a fluke win over Amanda Nunes. She got a questionable win over Raquel Pennington in a title fight that she didn't even deserve. And now she lost to Kayla Harrison, which I fully 100% expected. And now Nunes is coming back. They waved her into the cage. And by the way, I hate to even harp on this. The security didn't let Amanda Nunes in. You know why? Because the security that works at arenas doesn't know fighters. People in the MMA community, for some reason, think the UFC is so mainstream and everyone knows. No, they don't. The people who work the arenas don't even know who the fighters are. And the reason I say that is because Amanda Nunes is the most well-known women's fighter probably of all time, if not, I mean, I guess Ronda maybe. I guess. And then Amanda Nunes would be number 2. But people laughed when they didn't recognize Bilal and didn't let Bilal in for a second. Oh, man, nobody knows who Bilal is. Like the event staff gives a fuck about the UFC. Anyway, Nunes comes in looking like Michael Jackson. They square off. Oh, yeah, man, I'm coming back. Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, this and that. Massive women's MMA fight. I got to be honest, though, unless Nunes has fallen off a cliff, she beats Harrison. Harrison's striking is garbage. It's her takedowns and really her grappling that gets the wins, and I just don't think she can easily go out there and grapple Amanda Nunes. So that's clearly the next fight to make. Kayla giving them the world's longest post-fight interview, sucking off Trump afterwards. Not in the post-fight interview, but afterwards. What was I going to say? World's longest post-fight. Oh, my God. And she talked about, the weight cut. I wanted to quit on Thursday because of the weight cut. The division's dead, boys. I don't even know. Are they going to fight at 135 or are they going to bring back a mythical 145-pound weight class? And Nunes seemed like she's back for a while, so are they going to make the 145-pound weight class again so that we can give her fake title defenses by having 35ers go up to 45? So I don't know how this is going to play out. But outside of the very next fight, the division is completely dead. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm excited for Nunes Harrison as long as it doesn't main event a pay-per-view. But if it did, it wouldn't be the end of the world. It probably will now that I think about the UFC and the current state of kind of affairs in the UFC. But yeah, Harrison did what she needed to do. A long time ago, Harrison was in the crowd when Peña fluked a win over Nunes. And it was like, oh shit. It was like she was coming to the UFC probably soon and she saw all that money slipping out of her fingers. Now she is the UFC bantamweight champion, even though it seems like she has a lot of trouble cutting weight. And now she's going to fight Nunes. She's going to defend the title against Amanda Nunes in one of the biggest women's fights in UFC history. And she'll probably lose. But yeah, Harrison gets it done. Rips Julianna Peña's arm off. What is Peña going to say afterwards? She's a shit fighter who talks mad shit, but she promotes the fight. So, and she actually had a cool fight kit. So I don't know why she got a personalized kit, but Bilal didn't. But either way, great performance from Harrison. She gets it done. Second round Kimura, didn't take any damage. My guess is she's going to need some time before she can make that cut again if it's going to be at 135. So it probably won't be till the end of the year would be my guess. November, December, maybe MSG in November. But yeah, Harrison gets it done. She's fighting Nunes next. That should be a big event for women's MMA. Next fight on the card, we have the main event. Merab Dvalishvili versus Sean O'Malley 2, a.k.a. Sugar Sean. First off, what kind of fly-by-night company is the UFC in the arenas that they are going to? The barrier, as Merab's walking out, he's literally touching fans' hands. He's reaching up. Let me lean out of the way. He's reaching up, touching their hands. The barrier collapses and a bunch of fans almost fall on Merab. Literally could have injured him and ended the main event before he even got to the cage. You can blame it on the arena. You can blame it on the UFC. At the end of the day, it is the UFC's job to ensure the safety of the fans. This is the second time this shit has happened. It happened in Canada last year or the year before. I don't remember. Someone can comment down below and let me know the event. Second time it's happened. Merab could have easily been injured by that. It's a joke. It's an embarrassment to the sport. They almost literally fell on Merab, the champion, as he's walking out. You could blame it on the fan. Whoever's installing these railings or whoever's doing the safety checks of these railings needs to be fired immediately. Whether it's UFC arena, I'm assuming it's the arena, but the UFC should be double checking this shit as well. They should be walking around. They should have a point guy, a safety guy that's checking all this stuff out. Anyway, the actual fight. I did a full breakdown of this fight, so I'm not going to go too long on Merab dominating and humiliating Sean O'Malley. But first round, Merab's kind of striking with him. Eventually, O'Malley kind of fell to the ground, got up, got tripped back to the ground, got up, was grabbing the fence, eventually defends, goes back to striking, just spamming body shots, gets taken down again, eats a bunch of ground and pound shots. Nothing crazy, but Merab clearly won the first round. Second round is entirely striking from Merab and Sean, and Merab is just kind of walking him down, cracking with big shots. O'Malley looked like he landed 2 big shots, but one of them didn't even land. Merab got the hand up last second and blocked it. We've seen it in the replay. Merab was cracking him with big shots. There was times where he like shot in on takedowns, but they were really just to get O'Malley thinking about him. And the commentary team starts just going off about, man, O'Malley's gotten so much better, man. He's not jerking it, man. He's not smoking weed, man. He's off social media, man. He hasn't dyed his hair for Pride Month, man. They were acting like he won the second round. He got dominated in the second round, outstruck by Merab. And they were acting like he won. DC was even saying, man, the tide's turning. O'Malley's going to... What an industry plant O'Malley is. I might do a whole video about how industry plant he is. And then he got exposed again against Merab. But anyway, he gets outstruck the second round. Third round, Merab goes out there, is beating him up, is cracking him again, gets a takedown. I think he just... Oh, he got shucked off initially. It was a half-hearted takedown attempt. And the commentary team already started, oh, Sean's looking so good. Boom. Picks him up with a double leg. Fireman's carry. Dropped him down. Dominates him on the ground. Beating him up a little bit. O'Malley's closing guard like a little beta male soy boy. Then eventually DC's like, man, O'Malley needs to work to his knees. Merab's not a submission threat. And he works to his knees, and then he gets up, and he gets tripped back down, and he works back up, and he gets tripped back down. And then he's on his knees. Merab starts to lock up a Darce choke. It's not even close to being in, but then O'Malley like spins to his back, and then it's a north-south choke, and Merab just clamps down on it and finishes him. I don't even know why O'Malley needed to spin, because it wasn't even close to being on the chin. O'Malley was clearly exhausted. I could tell he was about to get finished. You could go watch my live stream. I was talking about it like with like a minute and a half left of the third round. I was like, man, O'Malley's going to get finished. You could tell the labored breaths that he was taking. Just breathe, Shug. Just breathe, Shug. So Merab's literally got the north-south, got the 69 choke on Sean O'Malley. Is just choking him up. And Tim Welch is in the corner like, just breathe, Shug. You're a warrior, Shug. You're a warrior, man, Shug. You're just such a warrior, Shug. And then O'Malley finally taps frantically because he cannot breathe anymore. And Merab exposes him for the industry plan he is. When are we going to learn? I talked about this in my other video. Undeserved title shots, usually they get dominated in undeserved title shots. Why does the UFC keep force-feeding us undeserved title shots just to watch guys lose and get dominated? O'Malley didn't deserve this. He got exposed by Merab at UFC Noche. He got exposed now again at 316. I was worried Merab was acting a little bit too crazy striking with him, but he was cracking O'Malley the entire fight. So you can tell the entire Sean O'Malley game plan from Tim Welch coming to this fight was, man, we hurt him with a fifth-round body kick. Let's just keep spamming the body shots over and over and over again. That was their entire game plan in this fight. 150%. So Merab finishes him. If you think Merab is boring, you're a casual. If you thought this fight was boring, you're a casual. If you thought O'Malley was going to win, you're probably a casual unless you were banking on Merab fighting like an idiot. Which I don't blame you if you thought that, but O'Malley just got out-muscled, man. O'Malley robbed Petr Yan. He fluked a win over Aljo. O'Malley really never even belonged in the top 5. He would lose to Mario Bautista tomorrow. He'd probably lose to Patchy Mix. I'm not going to commit to that 100%. But O'Malley isn't that good. He's got good striking. But, oh, and by the way, at the end of the first round, he goes back to his corner after getting dominated. And Tim Welch is like, man, that's perfect, buddy. That's perfect, man. You're doing so well getting dominated like the little bitch you are. So I don't know what to say. O'Malley gets an undeserved title shot, an undeserved rematch. Apparently, his labia isn't torn anymore. And he goes out there and does worse. He makes all these excuses for Noche. How does he reconcile that in his head? He makes all these excuses at UFC Noche. He goes out 100% healthy now at UFC 316. And he gets completely and utterly dominated by Merab and finished by Merab and humiliated by Merab. Picked up. I mean, his feet. If you can see the bottoms of your feet in the air, 6 feet in the air, 5 feet in the air, you're probably going to lose the fight, okay? So Merab gets it done. Merab is the GOAT at 135. His stamina is unmatched. I mean, even if OMalley didn't get Darce choked here at the end, last 20 seconds of the third round, he would have got dominated for the rest of the fight. He was going to get 50-45 if he was able to survive, but you could tell he was kind of looking for a way out when he eventually did get Darce choked. The last thing, or North-South choked. The last thing I want to check out. So Merab gets it done. Card overall was a mediocre pay-per-view in terms of on paper. It was okay. It turned out okay, but the main event, again, super undeserved. In terms of predictions, boys, read them and weep, boys. Read them and weep. And 6 were perfect. 6 were perfect. Look at this, boys. Only pick that was wrong was short notice Khaos Williams against Andreas Gustafsson, which got announced like 2 seconds before I did my video, so I didn't really do any real research for it. I just kind of went off the top of my head. So the card was okay. Should have been a fight night, to be quite honest. I'm happy with the prediction rate right here. I'm happy that Merab dominated the industry plant. What else is there to say? I mean, I would have liked a little bit more Donald Trump screen time. I definitely love every UFC event being turned into a political rally. By the way, it's hilarious. Man, the UFC, like John Anik, Joe Rogan, and all that, man, they really like to hype up Trump. They're like, yeah, man, Trump, man, the crowd's going wild. The crowd was louder for Mario Bautista than they were for Donald Trump. And then you have all basically the UFC shills and the publicity arms of the UFC. Like, man, the crowd went wild. They're chanting USA for Trump, man. There's like 5 people in the crowd chanting USA for Trump, man. I don't care what your political preferences are. Some people think I do for some reason. I just prefer any sport, whether it be MMA, whether it be football, whether it be basketball, whether it be hockey. I prefer them not to be pseudo-political rallies. So, not a big fan of that. It was sarcasm when I say I wish I could get more Trump screen time. The fighters bowing down and sucking him off after every performance. I get it. I guess they're happy. The president's. It's just embarrassing, man. It's cringy. It's embarrassing. I'm tired of seeing it. And it didn't even seem like New Jersey liked him that much, to be quite honest. Okay, I know that's gonna. I know that they were mercilessly booing him. I know that's going to trigger a lot of people. So, like the video, guys. Subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you guys thought of the card. And I'm trying to get this off the screen. I don't know why this is not working right now. For some reason, it's just simply not working. Well, now it's working. So, let me know what you guys think down below. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel. I'll talk to you guys next time.